Welcome back to the Eye of Jupiter podcast. I am your host, Tom Franklin, and today I have a very special guest for you. One of the funniest men I've ever met. A stand-up comic. He's been doing it for, I think, 8-9 years now. I'm sure he'll correct me right after this. He's been doing, he's traveled. He lives in Detroit at the moment. He's traveled to, I think, Chicago. I know he's been to Atlanta to do stand-up, and he's starting to make himself a name in the comedy scene through the U.S. One of my very best friends I met in the Germany comedy scene. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Eye of Jupiter podcast, Mr. Chris Barrett.
Hey, what's up?
What's up, buddy? How's it going?
Pretty good. Your intro is awesome, man.
Thanks. I just wanted you to know I had to spell check each one of those words.
Hey, of course I knew you had to.
Dude, I'm the worst speller.
You spelled that right?
Wow.
Oh, wow. I'm surprised.
Yeah, I just don't. I did smoke a little weed before we started here, the first one. I just wanted to make it interesting. I just go ahead and tell the people out there a little bit about yourself and maybe where they can find you, especially with your stand-up.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I've done a lot of shit. I've been everywhere. I've lived in Germany for 12 years, captive. I felt like you know how it is.
Yes, I do.
My soul is slowly starting to come back to me here in America. It's been about 7 years since I've been back in the States. Yeah, I do stand-up comedy around here. Yeah, I was in the Army too, as well as you. Tom and I have quite a lot of things in common.
Mm.
Yeah.
There's a slight difference. Army. I was married to a German woman, and you still are.
Yeah.
So she was half Mexican. I just went and changed to the full Mexican now, so we're all good. Everything is good.
Yeah, I haven't had enough of the pain yet.
Yeah, it gets. How long have you guys been together?
Well, we've been together 18, and it's going to be married 18 in November.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, I think I made it to 20, a little more than 22. So,
I got 4 more years.
4 more years to see. It's all downhill from here, my friend. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Christina. I love you.
So when Trump is running for his 3rd term in office, you mean?
Right.
That's when we're gonna.
Yeah. Yes, that's when you guys are gonna jump the ship and jump the shark and say I'm done with this whole situation. It's a Raz.
So bro, I had Jupiter.
Yes.
Is that like that? You're talking about the hexagon a little bit too, right? The hexagon.
No, that's on Saturn, dog. That's on Saturn.
Is that Saturn?
Yeah, I'm not. I'm into the Saturnverse, man. I'm about the largest gravitational pull in the solar system, other than the sun. Unless you're one of those silly flat earthers, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And yeah, dude, I guess you're asking me what it means. Is that what you're trying to ask me?
Yeah, well, yeah, and then I got the planet wrong, so.
Yes.
Well, be a jerk about that.
It's like because sometimes when the Earth rotates and Jupiter rotates, they line up, and you know that the eye kind of goes around the pole of Jupiter, and then it looks back at the Earth. So for me, it's kind of like self-reflection, represents power, represents majesty, represents the universe.
White power or?
No, not that one.
I'm
No, no, we were all powerful.
just
We were
joking.
one. Yeah, of course.
Just joking. Or
Chris,
am I?
Barrett, and I are not PC comics, just as well as my buddy Kurt did that I had on yesterday. So, so yeah, I had a fucking interesting day. I'm got a cold because you sit here in the air conditioner. It's already what in the 90s down here in the Yucatan
Oh
Peninsula.
wow.
Yeah, it's already smoking down here. And
Oh.
so the fan hits you at night. I'm sleeping in my hammock, and my girlfriend, she had a cold like last week, and then I got one this week. But it's kind of a
Mm.
thing that happens. And then you're out there pouring concrete all day. You come back and you're going to sit down with one of your best friends. So you take a little toke of a joint, drink a beer or two, and start talking some shiznit.
You're like it's weird. Weird. Normally, when I get a cold, it starts here and then works this time. It started down here. Cold
Oh,
started from down here and worked its
so
way up.
you
It's weird.
so your penis sneezed.
I was just laying in bed and I heard, "Achoo!" I was like, "Oh, you doing okay there, buddy?"
So that's interesting. So you're a former U.S. military, like I am, and we have that in common. We're also stand-up comics, and being in Germany together, we definitely like just bonded like immediately. You and I have never. We used to be on a. I don't know if you want to go back and promote that, but whatever. We used to have a show called Pokey Talk Time. We recorded, I think, like 35 episodes. There's only like 22 out. Some shit like that. And you can go check
Yeah.
that out if you really want to know what we're going to get into. But yeah, so like I started doing podcasts with you when we met Curdy, and that was fucking chaos
Yeah.
because we would do it before the shows, before the open mics. But go ahead and tell me why you joined the military. Why did you decide to do that?
College. I was working in the trailer park, man. I was riding a lawnmower all day. It was awesome, but
Hmm.
I wasn't getting paid enough money. So I'm like,
Oh,
what am
so
I
you
gonna
were like
do
the
with my
water boy
life?
of the North. Water boy of the
Yeah,
North. I got you.
yeah. Mama said I gotta mow the lawn in the trailer park. Well, yeah, I wasn't making enough. I wasn't making enough money, so
Okay.
I said, hey, maybe I should figure something out. A recruiter called my house because we had home
Oh,
phones back in the day,
that happened to me
and
too, man.
yeah, tried to
I got
talk to my
cold calls.
sister. Yep, tried to talk to my sister about joining the army, and then I was like, what about me? And the guy's like, how old are you? I'm like, 19. He's like, all right. You have a high school diploma? No. He's like, don't worry about it. We'll get you a GED. Blah blah.
You
Like
didn't. You don't
within.
have a high. You don't have a high school diploma.
No, I got a GED,
Oh wow.
but I
How the
do
fuck
have
are you more
2
successful than me?
associate's degrees.
Yeah, you're very associative. That's for sure.
Yeah,
More like
I have
disassociative.
I have the 2 most meaningless associates. One in general studies and one in arts.
Yeah,
So
you're.
associate of arts.
Weren't you trying to be like a mortician for a while?
Yeah, and I found out you make after getting a bachelor's degree, you make $20 an hour. I'm like,
Oh man, I didn't
yeah.
know that. That's the reason why you didn't want to hang out with dead people no more.
Well, that too, and the fact that the business has kind of turned super into me. I mean, before it was about making money, but now it's even more about just ripping off people in their worst time. And me, I
Wow.
wanted to get into the job for the exact opposite reason of
Okay, so you seen
helping
it for what it
people.
was. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, dude, that's awful.
Yep.
That's awful.
So
So the
I couldn't
military, they
live with
called you. They
myself.
called your sister. I'm sorry. So the military called your sister. You said, "I'm poor. I got myself a GED, and now I'm going to go to the military." And you
Yep.
became a light wheel mechanic. Is that correct?
Heavy wheel mechanic.
Heavy wheel mechanic. Excuse me.
Yeah, I did mostly engines and transmissions and like the big stuff.
And
But
you also did time in Iraq too, didn't you?
yeah, and it didn't take very long either. I got out of training. I was in Germany for maybe 4 or 5 months. Got a little
Okay.
taste of Germany, and then I was already
That's
flying
pretty funny.
down.
It's happened to me too. I think I was in Germany for maybe 8 months, and they were like, "Hey, there's this deal going on in Kosovo. You want to go?" And I'm not comparing Kosovo to Iraq, of course, but like I was like, "Yeah, I'll go." And they like asked me because it was like not my job. I was a multi-channel transmission systems operator, which is like very fancy for like radio guy.
Yeah, They're that's classic military. They give you a cool name, and then you turn out just like my recruiter. He made his job seem so cool. He's like, I'm an NBC specialist. I'm like,
Oh,
what's
it's
that? He's
just
like, neurobiological chemical
oh
specialist. And I was like,
yeah,
did you
the
have you
M49.
seen
Yeah,
any atomic bombs? Have you disabled atomic bombs? That's like in my brain what the job was. And he's like, nah, I've seen
nah.
one though before. I
You
was
have to
like,
bang on
okay,
metal 3 times and make sure
yeah.
that people put their mask on, or honk
Yeah,
the
that's what
horn
his
three
job was.
times.
His
Remember
job
that?
was yeah, that's his job was to he's basically a supply guy, making sure that everybody had masks
That
and
fit their face.
yeah, that was his job.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
guy pumped it up and made it seem like, oh yeah, hanging out with atomic bombs and disabling them and James Bond.
So you literally joined the military during like the height of the invasion, or like right after it?
Uh, we're 2003,
Right. That's when
so
it happens. I got out in
yeah.
two. That's funny.
hmm I and
Mhm.
yeah, I went to Iraq in 2004. So
Oh yeah, so it was after.
but I joined at around the time. I'm pretty sure it was around the time that George was on the boat and he had that big sign behind him that said
Yes.
"Mission accomplished."
Yeah, and
And
you're
they
like,
had
why
been
am I
showing, yeah,
going? Why am
they
I
had
going
been,
to Iraq?
yeah, they had been showing like any real like a whole. They weren't showing much about like the war on TV, or at least I
Right.
hadn't seen it. So in my brain, I'm like, oh, this shit's done. I can join now, right? And then the one of the first things they said in training was like, "You're all going to Iraq. Some of you aren't making it back." I'm
For
like, did you
real,
have
that's
to
what
make
they
it?
told you?
Yeah, did you have to make it rhyme too? Like, you know what I mean?
LL Cool J is your fucking drill
Yeah.
sergeant.
Y'all listen. Y'all go to Iraq. Some of y'all motherfuckers ain't
Like,
making it back.
yeah, where's my do rag and shit? Like, so you go to Iraq, and I know, like, I knew you a little bit. You were always, you always found it to be strange the dichotomy of being in a war zone and having, like, there's a picture that you took of a bomb shelter or a bunker next to a Burger King. Could you, like,
Yeah.
explain what you were seeing there and why it bothered you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was they tried to give you as much comfort as possible, right?
Yep.
Which I understand. But at the same time, it was kind of insane to me that we literally had on one of the bases I stayed on, we had a Pizza Hut and a Burger King. So you can go and buy Pizza Hut pizza. It tasted exactly like you would at home and be eating it, and then mortars come in and you have to go into a bomb shelter. It literally happened. I was eating pizza and I had to go in a bomb shelter with my pizza. I'm eating Pizza Hut pizza in a bomb shelter while the bombs are
Oh,
like,
that's so funny.
and I don't know what's more American than that, you know?
There's nothing more American. I can't think of one single thing that's more American than that. Apple pie, my
Being able
ass.
to enjoy Pizza Hut pizza while you're in war,
Yeah, why are
you
you
know?
getting mortared? That was the
Yeah.
same thing. We had a in Kosovo and Camp Bondsteel. We had a Burger King, and you could just like go do my night shift, make sure that everyone can connect to the satellites and talk back to the states. It can even be the president or the commander of the base, whoever it is. That was my job, right?
Yeah.
And then do that all night, and then go to Burger King in the middle of nowhere, like
Yeah.
an hour away from Pristina, Kosovo. It was just the strangest thing, and like it's just so funny that to comfort American soldiers, you just bring them fast food. It's fucking crazy.
Well, it's just the whole idea is just kind of ridiculous. I don't know. You knew it was useless. You didn't know why you were there, and a lot of the time you're bored, but then you still had this thing looming over you the whole time of like, you can die. You
Oh
are in a
wow!
war, and
Oh wow!
so it's just this weird like stasis of
Yeah,
like being
yeah.
stuck in this fucking place
Wow,
of
that's much worse than what I had to deal with. Because only thing I've seen two things that were pretty bad. Like, well, three things. Like when you drove there, you would see like a bunch of like mass graves and stuff like that. Like on the bus, you would drive by mass graves, and
yeah.
then and then we ended up at like Camp Bondsteel on top of this hill, and like everyone was working there was super happy because there's like no jobs there. So the second bad thing is like all the women are like they're pretty women because there's no men like there's hardly any women in the military at least at that time. and
Right.
so they were like pretty, but they had no teeth. So there was like a lack of dentists in Kosovo, I guess. And one thing that was pretty funny is that I had to pull guard duty on the tower, and you were out like what's the basic load, like 220 rounds? I can't remember, like 3 4 clips. Can't remember.
210, I think.
210, something like that.
Seven mags, 30 round mags. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
One
so
in
we're
the
pulling guard duty, and I'm listening to Californication because that album came out at that time. It's 2000, and you can see like there's this fucking fire and like this natural fire in the field, and I had to call it in. You get to call anything in that's close to the base, of course. So I
yeah.
call in, and you see these people out there just like stomping in the weeds trying to put this fire out. It's pretty fucking crazy, dude. Yeah, so like there's always this dichotomy of like, because like I was in NATO, like it was NATO when I went, so like K4, Kosovo Force, it was all NATO. So you see like Italian and the German and the Russian, and, not the Russian, excuse me, the Ukrainian military, and it was kind of like a show thing more than. I mean, I think we actually went down there for a purpose, but I don't think it was like it was more of a dog and pony thing than it was a realistic situation.
Yeah. I mean, I get that's part of the thing is it's just exerting their influence on countries. I think is what it
Yes,
is.
yes, yeah. So like
Flexing.
before we get to like what happened and how you what happened to you after that, could you? There was a story that you told on the Lost Frequency podcast. Maybe you
Yeah.
would like to delve into that one a little bit and like kind of rehash it because it's pretty nuts.
Yeah. So yeah, I just went to bed one night and I woke up in the middle of the night, still half asleep, and I was pulling on my penis, and it
Mm,
was flaccid. So my penis
wow.
was flaccid at the time, but I'm pulling on it as I'm like waking up. So this was happening to me, something I was doing while I was sleeping. So I was masturbating while I was sleeping, apparently. And as I'm like waking up, there's this thing. I don't know what it is. It's like it wasn't glowing. It was like just silhouette kind of a person, kind of white or whatever. I don't know. I can't even explain. But there's definitely something in the room. At
Wow.
first, I was kind of freaked out. I thought it might have been my buddy who was just in the room being like, "Dude, what the fuck are you doing? You're
Standing
jacking
over
off
you.
while you're sleeping. Jacking off while you're sleeping, right?" And it was like egging me on. It was like, yeah, pull it, yeah, do it, pull on, yeah, go. And
So crazy.
I was able to come even though my dick was not hard.
Wow.
And
I'm glad.
as
I'm
I'm
glad
like
you
waking
I'm
up,
glad you PC'd it up for us. Thank you very much.
yeah, did I have to PC it up?
No,
Yeah,
no,
well,
this
the
is
other
different
one I
though.
know, like the other one, Rye's kid was there or something. I couldn't be like, so I was pulling on my cack, my
Yeah,
limp cack.
yeah. You can't really do that. I was. That's a different thing, because this is my podcast, and you're my
Yeah,
friend, one of my best friends, one of my very best friends. When I was having issues with my relationship with my wife, and then you're one of the first people I can like talk to about, and like you
yeah.
know get like some kind of like bearing, like, oh, okay, all right, that helps. And so I don't give a shit if you talk crazy on here. It's just it was just a comment that I hope would be funny, but you took it like realistically.
But it was a weird thing that happened. Yeah, I have a ghost edging me, like giving me jerk off instructions. Basically, I don't
Right.
know if it was a ghost. Could have been an entity. It could have been a succubus. It could have been. I don't know what the fuck it was. But as
Uh
soon as
huh.
I was awake, it was gone. And so I cleaned myself up and then got up and then I was like looking around in my fucking little trailer that they had. Nobody
Right.
was there. You know what I mean? And so it could have
Uh
been
huh.
like one of my buddies like messing around with me or whatever. And it was just such a crazy thing. At first, I thought I had gone insane. I thought that like the stress and everything that had been going on had,
You got some PT, like some like shell shock PTSD snapped.
yeah, I kind of like tore a hole in my mind. I was having a psychosis. But the thing is it hasn't happened since. I've had only one other experience where it was upon waking again,
Okay.
where I was at my parents' house, and upon waking, something was like right in my face. I think it was a child in my face, and it just was just going saying something. I don't know what it was saying, but it was like being like like in my face, and I woke up and I was like, "What the fuck?"
That explains a lot of
Started
your
moving
stand-up.
around.
Explains a
Yeah,
lot of your stand-up. Like,
moving around, like looking around. I was like, "What in the fucking shit was that in my face?" It's like I didn't do any drugs or anything. I'm like, all right, that was the only 2 times that it's ever happened. If it happened
all right.
regularly, I would be like, all right, I probably got schizophrenia. But like,
So between calm and peace, doing the military stuff, getting out, doing your PT, morning formations, all those kind of things. Between that and absolute terror and horror, the things you had to go through and see and hear and all that, you
yeah,
get up out of there and then you return back to Germany. Is this correct?
yeah. So I came back to Germany. Met my wife 2 weeks after
No
I got
kidding.
back.
Wow.
Yep. And I was like, this chick doesn't want to. She's hot. She doesn't want to do anything with me. So I'm just gonna drink and have a good time with her.
I think that's like the same for me. I think
Yeah,
it
I
was like
just
2 weeks.
yeah. Just gonna have a good time, drink with her, not try to hit on her or anything, just have fun. And then
Hmm?
she enjoyed that. That I was like not like a lot of the military dudes would just be all over women the whole time, just trying to bang.
Hmm.
Is and I was just like, hey, let's just have a good time, whatever. And she asked me for my phone number.
Ah.
Yeah, that's how much riz I had.
Yeah, you're
That's how much pull
smooth.
I could pull them. I could pull
I
them
think that is a lot. That I think that is the underlying, meaning of the whole thing is pulling today. I got you. All
pulling. Yeah, this is the theme.
right.
It's the theme
the
of
theme,
the show, pulling.
the theme of the episode. Yes, I don't know what we're
Yeah.
going to call it. We're going to find out. Maybe it'll be
So when we talk about building 7 later, and
yes.
when when Larry Feinberg or whatever the fuck his name was, Larry, yeah, I think
Oh
Larry
yes,
Feinberg,
yes,
okay.
yes, yes.
And he does the video, and he's like, oh, there'd been such a lot of loss of life. We just told him to pull it. We just
Right,
told him to pull it.
and it
And then
just kind of
later
gets
on,
glossed over. Yeah.
everybody's like, you mean the demolition term where you demolish a building, you pull it, a
Pull it.
pullability?
Is that what
And
you?
he's like,
Yeah.
no, I mean, I am a
I
guy
mean
that
chicken.
works.
I'm pulled chicken. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm talking about pulling the guys out. That's what I
Right.
meant.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if you don't have a condom, things of that nature. I got
Let's
you. Yeah, I'm with you.
scrub the internet of this video, and any reporters that say anything about it will
Right.
mysteriously die in their Tesla on their way home.
Oh,
They're driving.
That was Michael Hastings, and I think that was in a normal vehicle. That's crazy.
Yeah.
He was like embedded in I think Iraq or Iran or Afghanistan or something, and it was during that there was a volcano. I think it was 2010. So there was no
Yeah.
air travel available. So he was like there longer, and then like people started talking like inside secrets and talking shit about the general and stuff. He started posting about it, and then he started going like, "Hey, if anything happens to me, I'm getting these death threats. It's not me. I do not want to kill myself." And like I don't know, not that long after, he was like going down like one of these main streets in like Hollywood and crashed into a tree like 110 an hour. So, I'm not saying I'm a conspiracy theorist, but like that's pretty fucking hot here. You know what I
Well, it's
mean?
gonna be the best with Tesla, man. When Tesla gets hooked up, and then of course Elon's gonna try to stop it, but the government's gonna backdoor that shit. You're just gonna be auto driving in your car, just chilling, having a good time, having a good conversation with the prostitute you just picked up that you're on the
Hmm.
way to the hotel to go, slam your salami in,
Yeah,
and you're
very
just gonna be
likely.
having a conversation, and all of a sudden your Tesla's gonna go anti-government views. You are being executed. You're like, what? It's like you posted a 9/11 video online.
That's how it
You are a
sounds.
you are a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
are you are being executed under order 537-7B of the FISA court, secret court.
like,
Barack Obama himself is here's a message from Barack
like
Obama. And
Obama.
Barack goes, "Hey,
It's like a fucking
it's
hologram shows up
yeah.
on your dashboard.
Hey, it's Barack Obama.
Barrick.
You've been a bad conspiracy guy, and you're not really towing your line as an American citizen. So we are executing you with your car.
Yeah, but they're already going to. I think they
Have a
can
good
already
day.
do it, dude. I think they can
Wait a
already
minute.
do it.
Wait a minute. Who's in the car with you? A prostitute? Nobody's gonna miss her. She's coming too.
All the more reason to. All the more reason to. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So you come back to Germany, and how was it to like try to come back into, I don't know, regular life, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Germany might have helped that because it was a new place. You know what I mean? And they're
Yeah.
kind of a little military in the way that the people are, you know? So
Militaristic, yes.
so I was kind of like just interested in all of the different new things and kind of whatever. And I was drunk all the time. So it was just like this drunk walk around drunk and learn new stuff and be like, yeah, I'm a fucking crazy guy. La,
Because
la.
Germany, I mean, we talk a lot of shit about Germany. If you listen to any of our podcasts on Punky Talk Time or anything that you see
Good
on
reason.
my stand up, yeah, we talk a lot of crap about how they are. But honestly, Germany is the safest place I've ever been to. It's
Oh,
super
sure, it's
safe.
safe. Yeah, safe. I mean,
But,
you can be prison's pretty safe too, you know.
mm,
If you're you know, a big guy or I don't know. But you know what I mean? Like a
yeah, the big
solitary
guys, yeah.
confinement. Solitary confinement in prison is super safe, right?
Hmm.
But I don't know. I'd kind of want to live here where I'm at now, where I can own my weapons. I can do pretty much
Mm,
whatever the fuck I want and have the
wow.
risk of every once in a while, some psycho fucking killing me. And then be in Germany and get taxed up the ass every day and taxed here and taxed left, right. But the healthcare system is so much better here in Germany. Oh, yeah, is it? Oh, I had to get an MRI. It took me 10 fucking weeks. You know what they were like? They're like, if it's brain cancer, he dies. We don't have to pay anything. We save money. Good.
Yes. So
Just like
there's
in
there's ups and
Canada.
downs. There's ups and downs, but they
Canada.
did right. Oh, Canada, they promoted like, oh, we
Canada, yeah,
wish, we wish and hope.
they literally come up to the people. They're like, "So you've been disabled for a while now. Your life kind of sucks. So have you considered suicide?" Like, no.
Dude, I
I've
all right,
been paraplegic in a wheelchair for the last 12 years. I have never considered suicide.
you
Not
guys don't
one time.
understand. We started Pokey Talk Time. What was that? When did we start? Like 19, 18? I don't remember. Something like that.
Pandemic
And
time, yeah.
something like that. It was crazy times. And the person I've podcasted with the most of my life is you, and you never cease to amaze me in your BS. I'm trying to set up something here. Could you please tell me about how bad it was to, I don't know, reintroduce yourself into normal everyday stuff?
Yeah, it was rough. It didn't really hit me until I stopped, to think about it. It took maybe 8 years until
Wow.
stuff started like hitting me, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm kind of fucked up." You know,
Yes.
it
You know
was
what's
kind of like
weird
you're
too?
in a
Which
haze where you're just,
yes. What's very strange too is that when it happens to you, you feel like you're the only one, and you feel like you're truly going insane.
yeah,
And then you find out, oh, it's kind of a normal thing nowadays that people have general anxiety disorder because that's what I was suffering. And then I
well,
think it was different for you, wasn't it?
yeah, well, that's kind of I kind of thought that's what it was. I kind of thought,
That was my girlfriend. She just came back with some chips. God. Oh, now
uh,
you're on the internet forever, baby.
well, I'd like some chips.
Tostados. It's kind of like corn chips. Is what they call tostados. Well, she's gonna cook, I guess. I think she's cooking again. She's hungry. She told me.
But yeah, like
Anyhow, yeah, yeah.
I really wanted to, you know, try to understand what was going on, and I just thought, depression and anxiety. And I told all the doctors in Germany, I've been to war. I was there for a year. I got bombed every fucking day, and then finally, like near the end of that,
Yes.
they were like, you know what? Maybe this has something to do with why you had a mental breakdown. And then,
Because for some reason, German doctors know better than you do, don't they?
yeah. And the crazy thing about that too is it took me a while even moving back here till I finally was like, no, this has had a lasting effect on my life, PTSD. And I finally
Yeah.
filed for benefits
Yeah.
a little over a
I'm
year
in,
ago.
I'm
Yep.
in the process of doing it right now because I think that it has something to do with me too. Because I realize I have difficulties working sometimes.
Yep.
Not like with the people and all that, but like every day, that feeling seems to drag me down. But since moving here, it's been a lot better too. So I think moving back to the Western world where people are, for lack of a better term, somewhat normal, depending on your take and spin, has helped me. Not to mention the amount of sunlight, the Mexican culture. Fantastic place for just stay away from where I live. I don't want too many Americans down here. Yeah, so you had difficulties. You went to the German doctors. I know that
I
there's a
was
couple times you,
institutionalized, yeah, in
yes, you were
Germany.
playing piano there for a while.
Yeah, I was it's quite a lot of piano videos. Yeah, the I was inpatient, I think 5 times in Germany because they didn't have any, therapists really available, so what would happen is I'd go inpatient in a clinic.
Uh huh.
I'd be there for 12 weeks, and then I'd get out, and then it was like I felt okay for a little while, and then I'd have another breakdown, and
Mm. So what do you
finally
think?
what
Yeah, I was
finally
going to say,
what stopped the
yeah.
cycle was it sounds crazy. I've told stories the story to only a few people. And one of the guys I told it to, he was a really religious guy, so he was like, "That's like God, or like guardian angel
Oh
touching
yeah.
me, or something like." And I was kind of like, "You kind of ruined the whole experience for me now. Thanks a lot." But so I had a, I had a, I had a, I had a lucid dream.
Mm.
And this was while I was inpatient in the hospital. I had a lucid dream. You could technically call it an out of body experience because I got up out of bed. My wife came to me in this dream, but it wasn't my wife. It just looked like my wife. But I knew, like, I had a feeling in this dream. I'm like, this is not really my wife. This is just a vision of my wife.
Mm.
And so maybe it was spirit guide. Maybe it was just my brain, another thing in my brain, this idea in my brain or whatever. I don't know what you want to call it. Came to me and took me by the hand, took me out the window, and mind you, this dream that I'm in, the room that I'm in is exactly replicated to the way the room was that I was actually in at the time.
Oh wow.
So you
Okay.
so I think that's another good basis to say it was more of an out of body experience. A lot of times,
Okay.
lucid dreams will be you become awake in a dream wherever you are in the dream. It could be Candyland or whatever, and then you're like, "Oh, I'm awake," and then now you have control in Candyland in your mind, right? But this was an exact replica of the room I was actually in, right? So this thing takes me by the hand out the window, and we go
Okay.
flying out the window. We go into a room, right? There's a crib,
Mm.
and we walk up to the crib, and there's a baby in the crib, and my wife or whatever it was turns to me and says, "This is, the child that we created. This is the family
Wow.
that we created." Right?
Wow.
And then took me by the hand again and out the window. Now we're in a house, right? And the angel or my wife or whatever says to me, "This is the house we're gonna build together," right? And then so we're walking around this house, and I walk down. They have like a basement where the floor you lift the floor up, and it's just got stairs that go into like one of those old school
Right.
basements,
Right. Mm-hmm.
right? So you lift the lid up, and I'm going down the stairs. I go to go back up the stairs. The stairs break,
Okay.
right? So I'm standing, and I could barely reach and touch the top of the floor to get out of this basement. And I'm just saying, "Hey, help me out of here. Can you help me out of this hole?" And my wife, Angel, whatever, I'm just gonna say my wife says to me, "You're the only person that can get yourself out of there."
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude.
Yep.
And what, did you wake up or did you pull yourself out?
I climbed out, and then that's started to lose consciousness in my dream of what
Okay.
was going on, and I ended up waking up shortly thereafter crying. I woke up crying.
Holy shit, dude.
Like I was crying when I woke up. Like I didn't wake up and then start crying. Like I woke up and I had tears already in my eyes.
Holy
And it
shit.
felt for me like a switch flipped in my brain. It was
So
insane. It
you,
was
so
like a
you,
release of all this pent up endorphins or whatever. All that, it felt like that just was released.
and this happened in
And I
Germany?
felt calm. Yeah, I felt this calm on me. I felt like I felt like something had changed
Wow.
from a
You never,
dream.
you never told me that.
No, I never. I don't think
Yeah.
like I said, I don't think I ever really told anybody that. But
Wow. And this happened like shortly before you left? Or like,
this happened. Yeah, it had to have been 2016, I think. Yeah,
oh,
it
so
was
like a
last.
year before you left?
It was also the last time I went inpatient. Yeah.
Right. I remember that. That's where they had you up there on horses and shit.
Oh, that
The time
was. I
before?
don't count that one. I don't count that one. That one was
that was
that was
more
a
vacation.
rehabilitation. That was a rehabilitation place because they finally thought about it and said, yeah, you know what, that PTSD probably fucked you up. Let's send you to a rehabilitation place where you get to ride horses and
Uh
take
huh. You
lavender
also told me they
baths.
had you on a medication where all music was like down or up a half a step.
Oh yeah, it was called Tegradol. They had me on.
Okay.
Um, it one of the side effects I looked up online. I wasn't crazy, so I'm driving home. I'm listening to "Best of You" by Foo Fighters, and I'm just listening to it, and I'm like, is the car battery dying? I don't know, because the music sounds like it's wrong. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I thought the battery might be down or whatever. And every song I listened to, I just kept noticing it was not in the same pitch.
Pitch. Right.
So I was thinking like okay, is this the radio playing it at a different speed or whatever? I'm listening to MP3s, same thing. I'm like, there's no way that this is, it's something with me. And so I ended up looking it up online. One of the actual like side effects from the drug was that you can hear music a half a step down. So as an experiment, I had a recording program. I took a song, "Best of You," Foo Fighters. I changed the tone of it one step up in the
One step.
program. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sorry, one half step up.
Okay.
One half step up.
So E
Listen to
sharp.
it. Yeah. So yes, listen to it, and then it sounded right again.
Wow.
And I was like, "Oh my god, this is crazy." And as a musician, obviously that's horrible. That's a horrible
Yes.
thing to go through life and listen to all the songs that you know. And if you're like me, you probably have a pretty good musical memory of the way tones should sound.
Yes.
To have
Yeah.
that every single time you listen to a song, your favorite song or a song that you know and you love, and it's a half a step down, is
Crazy.
drives you
It's
nuts.
so
So
strange that we have that in common too. You know what I mean? You're a musician.
yeah,
You do. Well, you're also kind of crazy too. You do your little Barrett's Broken Brain stuff on Facebook there, and I watched a few, and yeah, that's you. But you also were like a metal musician as well as myself, and
yeah,
so I completely understand. Like music is like a big part of like who you are. So when that's compromised, it must be a trip, dude.
yeah. I ended up stopping that medication. Currently, I haven't taken any medication for about 7 years.
No kidding.
The only thing I take is for anxiety. I take an anxiety med, but I don't take
Also,
anything for bipolar.
if it's sharp that day, you need it, then you'll take it.
Yeah,
Okay, dude,
and I don't
that's all right.
take yep, and I don't drink either. So
Okay.
and
That's good,
that
and
helps a
it
lot
helps.
too.
That helps a
Yep,
lot. Okay,
yep.
yeah, that's crazy, man. Um, so was moving to America like the big thing for you that helped the moving back to America, better said, is like the big thing for you, bringing your family. I know
Oh yeah.
you were financially having a situation in Germany because of the situation that you were going through mentally. and you
Yeah,
were able to come over, like reconnect with your family after not seeing you for, what I think you did 12 years.
12 years. Yeah,
And right, I mean, there was occasional vacation and stuff that you would go see your friends and your family, but it's not the same.
twice.
And
Yeah,
yeah, twice in 12 years.
yeah.
Wow, dude, that's a big
Well,
gap.
you didn't have any money in Germany,
Right,
you know. We moved
right.
back here with 5 boxes and our luggage, and it's been almost 7 years. It'll be 7 years in April. We have our own house. We bought a
Wow.
house,
Uh-huh.
financially stable. We have money to go on vacations. We've seen, my wife just told me yesterday, this next trip that we go on, we would have seen 25 states already.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, because you do that too. That's a thing where you kind of take your whole family and
Yeah,
you
we
went
go, we
to
went to,
Florida, New York, Vegas, all kind of stuff.
yeah, we went to Vegas, saw the Grand Canyon, went to Utah, went through Zion National Park, went to Hollywood, everything.
Oh
So
wow.
going from Germany, where it's like scraping by, moving here, starting with nothing, being able to build that up was definitely, something
I
great.
think I did the exact opposite. When in Germany, I was doing well, and now I come back here. Now I come back to I moved to Mexico, so that kind of figures itself out. And now I'm scraping by, but I'm starting to like get my head above water a little bit and kind of be able to see a couple things. Yeah, so I met you doing stand up. I started in November of 2014, and I think you started like April 2015. Is that right?
I think so,
Something
around
like that.
there.
Because I started doing. Okay, no, wait a minute. I started doing I think May or June actually, because I started doing stand up with Curdy. I think it was the 14th. I had one of those Kunstgegen Baches shows that we have in Germany that you went to as well.
Yeah.
Weirdest thing ever. And I did well that night. I made like 50 euros for like 10 minutes of stand up, and I thought I was king of the world. And then the next night, I did the open mic at the circus, and I did well there too. So, oh, this is great. Sakib was there, and Tom K, and Julian, and Kirky, and all the gang that we're in touch with. Well, not so much Tom, but we all like kind of just like became like best friends. And then you came in and threw a monkey wrench in everything, and realized immediately, even after only my 6 months of experience, like, okay, this guy is different. Could you tell me what made you want to do stand up?
I don't know. I mean, I always had fun and joked around and always had to be the guy that crossed the line and, just always had a weird way to look at things. But I don't know. Seeing stand up and just thinking I could do it, and then one day I randomly just saw that post. I found a place where they did stand up, and just all right, I'm gonna try it out, see what it's like, and
Yeah, I remember your first set. I remember it
been
very well.
addicted like I don't know. This is like heroin, I guess.
It's very addictive. True.
Yeah. I
That's
go sometimes I go 5 days. If I go 5 days without going to a mic, I
you
start getting
itch.
itchy and
You
antsy.
like the itch. Yeah, I
Christina
just
looks
had.
at me. She's like, "Go to you get out of here. You go do stand up comedy. Get
Yeah,
out of
because
here." Because I'm
you
just
start getting
walking around like,
crazy. You're petting the cat too much, Chris. Go, go do some
yeah,
stand up. I just had my lady. I've been doing stand up here in Mexican, in Spanish, and I'm doing
in
okay.
Mexico.
Yeah, in Mexico, I'm doing all right. It's weird. The audiences are different because I'm only used to Germany. And now, when you went from Germany to the States, there was also a big transition. What was that like?
Oh yeah, in Germany, I realized we got away with a lot more stuff, like with dark material, and here it's about 30% about being funny, and the rest is all about like making connections with people and who you know, and you know what shows you get and stuff like that. It's all about like
It's like politics or
networking.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, networking, politics, and I mean, for me, I'm pretty good with that because I'm a pretty pragmatic guy, so I just
True.
kind of go with the flow. I don't give a shit. Like, oh, you're a fucking psycho pink-haired bitch. That's fine. Yeah, you're right. We should kill everybody. Yeah, that's fine. And then on the other extreme, you got a guy who's like, we gotta get these gay black guys and just beat them with a bat.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you're like,
yeah. Those
you're
those
like,
those
all
guys too,
right,
like people who are just being abrasive to be abrasive instead of actually
yeah. You're like,
writing,
okay,
instead of
yeah,
actually writing. Because we learned that too, dude. Like we were growing up like once a month, we would get 15 minutes, and you better bring it. You better
yep.
bring it. And so every time you went up, so like it was small crowds, so like it would be like I don't know, at the most
It's not
20
a small
people.
crowd for an open mic. That is,
No,
to be honest, those mics that we had there, like I said, we didn't know what we had, dude. You go to some of the mics here, you got 10 people there, 8 of them are comedians, 2 of them are drunk people at the bar that don't give a shit. So it
wow.
so we really were spoiled in that sense, in the amount of time you get to. But here, the fact that it is harder because it's a bar full of comedians or a bar full of people who don't give a shit, it kind of pushes you to find a way to make it work, you know?
Okay,
So so that when you do finally get in a show where there's 80 to 100 people who are there to hear comedy, they're attentive, you just ignite the whole place. You know what I mean?
wow,
You
it set
just
it on
destroy
fire.
it.
I got you. Drop
Yep.
that bomb. Drop that missile.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
different here too. You were saying like we don't know how well we had it. I guess I still don't know how I have it because when I go, I think the lowest I've ever had is 15, and there's only 4 comics, and they're very receptive down here in Mexico. If you do a local reference, which I do, is there's this gas company that goes around because Mexico is very loud. So people just drive down the street honking horns, which means they have tortillas or they have ice cream or some shit. And here there's one that's called Zeta Gas. Zeta Gas, so Z gas, and which sounds very German when you say it, Z gas. And so
Zigassen!
gas, yeah. So they have like people in Mexico that have their gas tanks on the roof. So they there's this truck that drives around has a little jingle that does the gas. So I made it like a little thing about saying it's my favorite song in Mexico, and it crushes every time. It's an easy joke. It's a good way to get the people on your side. And the only thing is that I'm not able to go into the deeper concepts that you and I do, whatever that may be. But
As
the crowds are
you're
super
missing the
receptive.
vocabulary. You're missing the
Yes,
vocabulary stuff,
right. I
which I'm
got
sure you'll
the
get.
oh, of course, I got the zing and all that. They're very receptive. They're really willing to listen to me because here in this part of Mexico, I'm way down on the Yucatan. I'm a rarity. You called me a unicorn. I think that was a very apt, uh, astute observation of what I am. So if American white dude who's huge compared to people down here because I'm in the Mayan area, so everyone's like the tallest guy's like 5'7" or some shit. So when I take the mic and I hand it to the next person coming up, literally it looks like I'm handing it to my son, but for some reason he's like not, like post pubescent for some reason, and they heckle, right? That's strange. But they heckle to help you. And it actually does. Like you'll say something and it's not correct because of cultural or wording or something like that. And they'll say, no, it's blah, blah, blah. And you go, and then if you don't understand what it means, I just kind of stand there and go, what? Or I'll go, oh, I've heard that before. That means this and this and that. And they'll go, no. And they'll start laughing because I make the mistake. But it's not like this, like in Germany, like if someone heckles you, is normally some PC culture, like woman who told me one time I was mansplaining or something, and then I did a whole bit
Yeah.
about flying into a mountain and you should listen to the pilot even though he was a man. So it's that's a weird experience, but like so I've been following you because I knew for like while you were leaving Germany, I think it was the 17 you left, right? Something like that.
Yeah, 2017. Yeah. It
So you left. So there was this big hole in your stand-up for like 3 years, correct?
was like 5, I think. I started
Wow,
back up. I started back up. It'll be 2 years in June.
wow,
Yeah.
wow.
So it was about 5 years. Yeah, I didn't do
Because
comedy.
I kept telling you. Remember, I was like, "Get your ass up, get your ass up," and you were like, "I
Yeah.
don't know, man, I don't know." And then he started getting into it again, and he was just like, "Yeah, dude, you were right. I gotta go." Because when you see, like you were in the scene with me, and there were certain people that got up. You were just like, "Okay, this person is trying to be X, Y, Z." Because that's what you
Right.
do as a beginning comic is that you kind of emulate the people that you love doing stand up.
Right.
So there's those people, and then there's that one person that you go, oh my god, this person is going to be good if they just keep doing it, and you were the one. Like, I think I just between you and I, like I have a smoother way of doing it. You're more of shock and awe with like a fist bump joke in there somewhere. And but like raw funny, you got me hands down. And I always said to you, dude, if you do this and stay true to yourself, which I know, we could actually, because you were talking about all the politics and things like that. But I'm hoping eventually you get back to the one that I saw,
I get to do
where
that
you
soon.
get. Are you at that point now where you can kind of like skip
When you're a
ahead, maybe?
feature, you get more liberty to talk about things. So, and I'm getting close to that level right now. So,
That's great. So what has it
yep.
been like for you? So for going from say an open micer to like you're on the edge of being a feature, or you featured a few times. I know you've hosted a couple times, which people don't know. If you get to host in the comedy scene, and on say for a big weekend, some bigger comic comes into town, it's kind of a big deal. Going from an
Yeah,
open mic to right. Could you explain that process?
so it's interesting how the people that are around you when you're just open micer, I mean they'll be nice to you and talk to you and stuff, but like they could give a shit less who you are if you're not on their level or whatever.
Mm,
But as soon as I posted that I had that weekend, like I started getting messages from people that never really talked to me before, and they just start treating you a little different because they're like, this person's serious. I have to take this person serious now. You know what I mean?
wow. Yeah.
So
Uh,
like I started
what does that
getting
make you
taken
feel? How
more
does that make you
serious.
feel? How does that make you feel? Like, it makes you feel like these people are
It's like
fake.
you better take me serious because I'm
Oh, you're
gonna
gonna drop the
bury you
hammer.
all. I'm gonna bury
Yes.
you all.
Yes, every single one of them. I'm telling you, dude. I know. I know. There's a scene, there's unspoken things that we don't talk about, but we knew who were the ones. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And you were one of them for sure. Where every time you got up, I never knew what was going to happen, which was the fun part of it. I remember we were at this shitty bar where you had to like when you the stage, quote unquote, you had to look left and right at the same time to do the audience. They looked at you. Who knows what that show floor was set up for? Who knows? Dancing, moonwalking, I don't know. And I was in the. There's a little spot behind the bar in the back, and you did a specific joke about snapping, about between being manic and depressive, and that change, and you screaming the way you screamed. It was too.
manic.
It was too real and
Yeah,
too insane for me not to laugh. I remember being on the floor and looking at a stool through, like, the stool rung, and like the
yeah.
bar looking up through the stool rung, still seeing you with the mic, just keep fucking going. And I went, okay, this one's a different one. And I looked at Curdy, because Curdy was running the shows, and me and him, I had, knew each other. He was just like, what the hell is that, Tom? I go, I don't know, but we got to keep watching. He goes, I know.
Eh,
Which was
That's
a
the
bummer.
part.
So when you got back to the States, I was like, what? Why aren't you? And now, other than Bara Victor, he's a big comic in Romania, which to show
Yeah,
you, right? It's like you, for me, I mean, it's not, you haven't reached success yet because I know what mission you're on. Your mission is to go destroy, and that's it, and everything else don't matter. That's what you
yeah,
want to do. But like, if you look, you have to take this step outside and look back in from the point of view of somebody else. You're the second most, I would say, successful comic in the scene that we started in,
yeah.
and you're below like a headliner in Romania, so I think you can get him eventually. Shout out to you, Mr. Barra Victor.
He's doing great shit. He's still going too. Like we'll chat every once in a while.
Yeah,
He
cool.
he met Doug. He met Doug Stanhope and everything. And
Yes, yes, the guy you used to actually like email, and he told you
I
that you
almost
were a
got him.
hack.
Yeah. I could say it on here. I could say it on here. I don't think the guy that whatever was gonna watch this. We had a venue set up, and I actually put together a proposition to have Doug come out. Um,
Hmm.
Doug wrote back and said that he wasn't taking any. He wasn't booking anything at the moment. That he's got
Okay.
other projects he's working on, but he said that he would reach out again when he opens his books again.
Hmm.
So We were close to getting them.
Or you mean to tell me that if you were to set this up and get it going, that you would maybe open for Doug Stanhope?
Yeah, I would have.
Oh my
That was the
God, dude!
plan. Yeah, that was the plan. We
You know
were.
how much I revere him, right?
Yeah, we were
Okay.
looking at. I don't want to say the numbers, but we're looking at being able to open for him and still putting a couple of grand in our pockets.
No kidding, dude.
That's the way the set
Couple.
we could
Hey,
have.
but
Yeah,
you make sure you pay him, dog, because that's the dude. That's the
yeah,
man.
he would have been. Yeah, he would have made more than a couple of
Yeah,
grand.
okay, you don't have to say that, so okay, it's doubles. Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, by the chance, you go there and check out Doug Stanhope. And he's a very dark, but a very clever, very smart, and actually a very loving person. But if you hear him talk, he ain't that way.
yeah.
He's a fantastic comic. So, shit, dude, that was an hour. Can you believe that?
I could talk to you forever.
Yeah,
We
I
can talk
know.
for hours.
You can talk for hours. Like back in the day, we used to have like the phone with a little curly cord. We would sit on the bed with our stockings and like kick them in the air and like twist our fingers in the cords and talk.
And
Yeah, that's me, man.
twirl our hair.
Twirl our hairs. I appreciate you coming on, man. I fucking wish the best for you, and
Well, I
there's
hope
some
this
crazy
was
things.
worth it for
Yeah,
your people out there watching.
I think
Out
they will
there.
because I want them to realize that this is a different type of podcast. We're going to talk about everything and anything that I deem fit. Um, you're thinking maybe I'm digging into the bottom of the barrel to talking to my best friends, Chris and Courtney, but it's not true. These guys are very interesting, very smart, and very loving people that have influenced me in my life. And I want you to don't want everyone to hear that I love you, brother. You know that.
I love you too, brother.
I love you too. Say hi to Tina and your kids for me, okay?
I will.
All right, buddy. I'm going to kick you off for a second, and we'll talk afterwards because I got to make sure that everything went good on the recording aspect.
All right. Thanks. Hey, thanks for watching this. Keep subscribing and share it with your friends and shit. You know, Tom's a
And
fucking
like
great
it,
guy. He's got a lot of that way. He's that way. He has a lot of funny, good shit coming up. It's probably funny, interesting, mind blowing.
yeah, yeah. Thanks a lot, dude. I appreciate that. Bye. That was one of my best friends, Curdy too. Chris Barrett. Go ahead and check him out. He's on Instagram, Facebook, and all that stuff. And if you want to go see him live or whatever, just if you're in the Detroit area, and I'm sure eventually he's going to be out there in your area. And remember, you are listening to the Eye of Jupiter podcast, where we are the eye and we are aware. Thanks for watching. You have been listening to the Eye of Jupiter podcast. If you have any strange occurrences, stories, or witnessed anything out of the ordinary, don't be afraid to send me an email at the Eye of Jupiter podcast at gmail.com, and maybe you will be on the show. And please remember, we are the eye and we are aware.